إن الحمد لله وكفاه والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد فالسلام الله على القوم ومرحبا بكم يا جماعة. India versus Pakistan, and as the dust settles, the Lowdown people and the beginning of a new dawn. So this potential human disaster that almost unfolded, what could have led to a potential nuclear war. Wow, some afterthoughts on all of this. As many of you all by now know the whole, the major details. India, what appears to have just done a false flag operation, a tragedy blamed on terrorism in Pahalgam, Kashmir, leading to the life of 26 victims, I believe, blamed on terrorist organizations and then, by extension, Pakistan. Keeping in mind that, as many local Kashmiri residents had said, that Kashmir is one of the most highest militarized zones for local public residents to move just from locality to another. There are so many military checkpoints that how did such an organized group get to such a point that they could conduct such an attack, having bypassed several military heavily militarized zones and checkpoints, and I mean, that is a question in and of itself. In any case, following that, as tensions rose, the war spilled over. I was amongst many people who, damn, I was just thinking, Ya Salam. Because the thing about war is, as easy as it may be to instigate, how does it come to an end? And such matters can't be overlooked when both countries are, so volatile and nuclear powers. One of the only few, two of the only 10 countries, I believe, in the entire world that are nuclear strong. So, as this began, India had struck in the middle of the night, naming their operation Operation Sindoor, which, I mean, Ya Salam. If you couldn't turn things more comical, I don't know what they meant by that, because as everybody knows, that's something the bride wears as she goes into marriage. So, the memes I'll leave to your imagination. The memes that followed and ensued from that. In any case, they launched these strikes, most of which upon civilian regions and localities, and claiming that they're striking terrorist organizations and places to do with Maulana Masood Azhar and so on, but just striking masjids and resulting in several casualties and some deaths, including that of a child. So, just shame on them for doing that in the darkness of the night. And then when Pakistan retaliated with what it called Operation Bunyanum Marsus. So, and this is taken from the verse of the Quran where Allah speaks of the believers as this fortified foundation, Bunyanum Marsus. But during this war, or what came of it, because before Pakistan launched its retaliatory attack, it had countered the offensive heavily, resulting in so many losses for India, taking down what Pakistan claims, perhaps, maybe three, and some claim five, but at least some uh, Rafale 4.5 generation air jets. I mean, this is state of the art that India, sorry, had prided itself on. Pakistan took down at least two, if not, Pakistan claims perhaps anything between 3 to 5 of these state of the art air jets that have immense stealth capabilities and that have what they call a beyond visual range, a BVR of 200 kilometers. That's the kind of precise shooting point you're dealing with. So, and this, by the way, when it began, when it occurred, many critics, especially Western critics, denied. I mean, without any facts or even looking into the matter, just looking at plausibility alone, they said that this was implausible, since the fighter jets that Pakistan has a BVR, beyond visual range of really just 100 kilometers. So these jets are out of their range. How could they, let alone take them down? They can't even they can't even capture them using their radar systems, that they can't even locate them and set a target on them, let alone take them out. How this is impossible, they were saying. That, keeping in mind that these are rapidly moving targets and they're out of the visual, not just visual, but the auditing and radar capacity and the jet's capacity. So in usual combat, what you have is the jets locking onto one another and a kind of aerial dogfight. And this, by the way, went down as the longest in recent history aerial dogfight known in aviation history. Almost an entire hour of, I believe, 100 and was it 24 jets combined on both sides in the air, going on for 59 minutes. Wow. And so in that, and Pakistan did take them down, and then France confirmed this. And you can imagine this to the French detriment, that they sold these Rafales to India only to now dip in value. I mean, you have state of the art military warfare, weapon technology out there, and never has a French Rafale been downed. And there it is. Pakistan takes it down. And just ya salam. So even the beginning. And this, by the way, Pakistan used what was known as ABC warfare, where they synchronize ground radar with jets. And this 2 point, had been done by the United States and Russia previously, but Pakistan did a third step, unprecedented I mean, this has not been conducted by any military capacity worldwide, where they synchronized the ground warfare, the ground radar capabilities with the jets, with AWACS, which is airborne warning and control systems. And these are like these military, these are like almost these planes, like Boeings, with this massive circular disc around them that has a 300-kilometer, uh, 360 degrees radar that it is picking up as well, and simultaneously in real time synced with all three. This ABC method has never been used, not by the United States, not by Russia, not by anybody. And Pakistan successfully used that. And you could see, not only did they shoot down the Rafales, but in And Pakistan claims, like I said, over 5 and in some reports 6 that they shot down, that they successfully destroyed India's S-400 anti-missile capabilities, which is a Russian state of the art. I mean, it's something which is so spectacular that it can lock onto 300 targets at one point and destroy, I believe, anything between 30 to 40 in a given instant. I mean, that this is the S-400 is state of the art, and Pakistan took that out as well in their operation Bunyan Marsus. So, right, all of this, what has, and in addition to that, just to, almost as a masala to what's going on, the cyber attack as part of a launched offensive in retaliation, Pakistan, besides hacking into the airjet, into the the actual military capacities. So some of the pilots were hacked into. They jammed, obviously, a lot of their kind of aircrafts and things like this. In addition to that, and hacking into countless security systems, train stations, demonstrating the ability to cause chaos. They also, and I found this somewhat amusing, hacked into the largest electric companies and erased all accounts. I mean, yes, salam. I mean that, if anything is an amusing matter, you think we could do with a bit of that. Just erase all accounts instantly. I mean, just imagine. Now, Pakistan announced also that China had given Pakistan access to its Bedu. So Bedu is a GPS system. So you've got some of the leading, you have GPS, which is American, GLONASS, which is Russian, Galileo, European, and GPS, which is, so popular worldwide, has, I believe, is it 34 or 35, something like that, satellite constellations in this orbiting Earth. China's Beidou system has a constellation of 44 satellites, the most comprehensive GPS system that currently on Earth is held by the Chinese to 1 meter accuracy. They gave military resolution access to Pakistan during that war. And that is crazy. And what you can see is, in addition to what emerges as the dust settles? So in addition to the embarrassing kind of slap in the face that India faced with that, the kind of breakdown of what was its pride, really, the Rafale aircrafts, the S-400. I mean, these things being taken down, what it showed was one Chinese might and the aircraft. So, and not just the aircraft, their weaponry. So the jets that Pakistan was using, the J-10C, there's nothing spectacular about them. They are also fourth plus generation, but they were inferior to the Indian Rafale. Yet Pakistan synchronizing them with the ABC method and using the J-17 Thunders successfully took out all these, state-of-the-art, much superior weaponry. What that shows is, one, the synchronized and new face of Chinese intelligence and weaponry. When the ceasefire was declared, America stepped in and Trump announced that we've successfully brokered this ceasefire. And the question was, well, why? And on one hand, yes, of course, it's embarrassingly humiliating for India what's happening. But I'm not so convinced that was the reason. I feel that America stressed the ceasefire. And yes, I do feel that Pakistan does also had captured the Indian female pilot, Shivangi. I'm almost certain they captured her because it doesn't make sense, although Pakistan denied this. You see, she was releasing all these social media TikToks and things prior to the war. If she hadn't been captured, I'm sure she would just release a TikTok saying, "Here I am, what's all this?" I feel that during that truce and the ceasefire, India had stipulated that Pakistan suppresses the claim of this capture. And in turn, India will, when it comes to the suspension of the water treaty, the Indus Water Treaty, that they will, be flexible. Now, yeah. So why did America step in when clearly Pakistan's spokespeople stated that as tensions were high and prior to the Indian attack, Pakistan reached out to America, yet America clearly refused to get involved. And Vance had been in India just moments really before the Indian strike of Operation Sindoor. They clearly weren't interested. So why did they suddenly get so interested? I feel that this clearly is nothing to do with India's humiliation. Rather, it's to do with Chinese weaponry. You see, what I didn't know is that all of Chinese weaponry that it creates, 80% of all of its exports only go to Pakistan. Other countries don't buy Chinese weaponry because it's never been tested. It's not what they call war tested. So 80% of all exports only go to Pakistan. Now, during this war, Chinese weaponry stood the test of time and it excelled, it shined. And the greatest thing China's ever done, I'm telling you, is TikTok. Because what they did, you see, the world was generally disconnected with China because of the language and cultural barrier. And how do you find out anything about China? How do you get things from China? How do you do anything with China? Well, Alibaba, AliExpress, people don't know. There's almost this metaphorical Great Wall, between the world and China. Now with TikTok, China has direct access to the entire world. There it is, it sends out a message. So it started to flood TikTok with all these messages saying that, look, gave the prime example of India relying on French, Russian, and Israeli weaponry, all which do not talk to each other. The software is not easily synchronized. And it stated that if you buy, these TikToks, you could see them. They were saying if you buy weaponry from us, it all comes seamlessly integrated. Also, they announced that if you buy weapons from us, there's no stipulations. I didn't realize until I watched one of these TikToks that the F-16s that America has sold Pakistan, it sold them with the condition that you cannot use them in any war against India. Hence, during this war, no F-16s were used. That's crazy. Since Pakistan's threat is coming from India, and they sell this weaponry with such a stipulation that should you use it, they'll just block the software or they'll hold them to severe and austere account. So China was advertising on TikTok that if you buy weapons from us, it comes condition-free. Following this war, India's J-10C are now to be listed in the Paris air show, which is huge. It's a massive big deal. They were not listed before. They've never been listed. Chinese jets have never been listed. And now, this year, in 2025's Paris Air Show, the J-10C, which were used in Pakistan, are going to be listed. In addition to that, it's online stated, Allahu A'lam, but this is what's stated, that Colombia has already placed, I think, an order of something like 25, 26 J-10Cs, which are a fraction of the price of other aircraft, Western counterparts. Then you've got, if you just look at where China is, it has the American F-35, which are fifth generation. China has its J-20 series, which are fifth generation. China has already released its actual concept of sixth generation aircraft, released it, whilst America just had it on paper. I think America tried to say, well, I think they're trying to speed up and China has announced its actual manufacturing by 2030. So the longer this war was to go on, the ridiculous boost that Chinese weapon industry was gaining. And this is why America stepped in and, I would say, strong-armed this ceasefire, which we all are glad it did, and that this ceasefire happened, because really, when this war began, Ya Salam, I was thinking that, Ya Allah, where does this go? And as the poet says, that وَمَا الْحَرْبُ إِلَّا مَا عَلِمْتُمْ وَذُقْتُمُ وَمَا هُوَ عَنْهَا بِالْحَدِيثِ الْمُرَجَّمِ. Allah, that, war is what you know and experience and taste. It isn't just this, just hot air and talking about it, or people, these are calamitous kind of crises. But it's amazing, Ya Salam, that truly the help of Allah manifested. And it's fascinating, the turn of events, and how China, for once, unprecedentedly, publicly took a stance. The foreign minister announcing that we will stand with Pakistan in this war, make no mistake about it. Unprecedented. China never, it's always has a neutral, soft positioning. Took a hard stance with rumors of several Chinese leading officers in Pakistan during the war. I mean, and what it showed to the world was that Pakistan moving forward is not just Pakistan, it is Pakistan and China that you're dealing with. I think many people are just in awe of the situation that has arisen. And it is, I suppose, concerning as well for many countries, like especially the Western superpowers. France, which lost stock value as the Chinese stock surged. America, that now has a fierce competitor in the weaponry market, which up until now, pretty much one could say America monopolized, because its weaponry was not only state-of-the-art, which it is, but war-tested. So yeah, these are some fascinating observations on what unfolded before us, this, and just the help of what I would say Allah, because it truly is something that shows, wow, not only the longest aerial dogfight in recent aviation history, where Pakistan successfully avoid really any losses, and then faced just a barbaric drone strike from India and successfully took down these drones and did sustain losses. I mean, as in civilian damage, but then retaliated so successfully, and striking the state-of-the-art aircraft, state-of-the-art anti-missile machinery and just really taking this out with such dignity. And above all, the Pakistan spokespeople maintained a dignified maqam, really, in all of this, where India's news, oh my God, it was so embarrassing. You know, I clicked on YouTube it was just this war hysteria. I mean, and just the amount of misinformation. Oh, we've taken over Pakistan, we've taken over Karachi, we've taken over Islam. Our tanks have I mean, just the ridiculous. And it showed how out of control India was, that it's so much of its public is watching this, and then a ceasefire is declared. It makes no sense. And so the foreign minister, the third most powerful person politically in the entire country, announces, I mean, it's not him who's broken, but he announces the ceasefire, and the fanatics of India turn on him. You know, he's a Hindu. He's part of the BJP, this right-wing fascist Hindutva group that, and Vikram, I believe, is it Vikram Misri or something? His name is. There's an onslaught against him. They find his on Twitter. They find his daughter's Twitter handle. And make threats not only to assault her but to rape her. I mean, this is the state of how low the affairs had stooped in India. And this by no means, you know, is a reflection on India as a people. I feel that India as a people, really, I do believe is a beautiful country with amazing people. I mean, you see, it is so disproportionately represented. The majority of India, which you see, is so sick. You know, according to the latest Pew reports and polls, so sick to death of just North India's and Delhi's obsession with Pakistan. Khair, in any case, what we saw here was really a manifestation of the verses Inna fatahna laka fatham mubina. Allahu Akbar. And really, I would say that Allah watches over, you know, in the words of Ghalib, that, you know, Zindagi apni jab is shakal se guzri Ghalib. You know, despite seriously what the army is, it's unacceptable what they're doing to Imran Khan. But, you know, Zindagi apni jab is shakal se guzri Ghalib. Hum bhi kya yaad karenge ke khuda rakhte the. And this is in the sense that ke khuda hame mahfuz rakhte the, you know, in that sense. That Allah truly does help. And I also Behzad, his famous ghazal that Aata hai tufan to aane de, kashti ka khuda khud hafiz hai, mushkil to nahi in mojon mein, behta hua sahil aa jaye. That is, you know, that it's not that whether the storm wishes to come, let it come, that Allah watches over this ship, that it is not impossible or difficult that through these tumultuous waves that we reach the shore. Allahu Akbar. So Allah bless all. I wanted to share this thought and really just a breakdown. Allahu Akbar. In this moment, in this episode, despite all the tension and the fear, I had fear that, you know, I've got family in Pakistan, and I thought, Ya Salam, what is going to happen? Yet Allah watched over. So truly in this, you know, Pakistan Zindabad. And may the army see sense, Ya Salam, and, you know, release Imran Khan. Ameen. He truly is the leader of Pakistan. Take care, people. Allah bless you all. Salamullahi alaikum wa khuda.